of water. This is why January is really going to be important for Arsenal. I think you got to keep yourselves in touching distance. I think you've
all
got
three
to go out.
teams, not just
all
Arsenal.
of you. January is a massive window, I think, for this title race. It really is big.
I agree. I think for all three teams, I mean, we need a DM, 100%. We need to go and get Zaka Zubomendi or someone. Yeah, Liverpool probably need a couple of players, and Arsenal need to strengthen. The maddest thing about Arsenal right this season is in the game against Brighton, they should have been out of sight by half time anyway. Right? They should have been 3 or 4-0 up anyway. Odegaard missing sitters. And then with 5 minutes to go at 1-1, Havertz goes through on goal, should score, kicks it straight at the goalkeeper. So they should have won that game anyway, despite the red card. City was obviously bit. Well, what's big about City because it's City, right? The Bournemouth game, 0-0. Martinelli's got a chance. He's got to bury that. I'm sorry. He's got to bury that. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen the shot from behind the goal. There's a camera angle of him shooting from behind the goal. The keeper is already diving to the left before he even shoots. All he has to do there, Martinelli, is get his head up, see it, and then just send the ball the other way. And he's got a massive gap, and it's a goal. He's got to bury that. So this is the thing with me with Arsenal is, listen, the ill discipline needs to stop. Yeah, you can't keep on getting red cards. Obviously, you're not going to win the league, right? But even in these games, City, they were seconds away from winning. Brighton, they should have won. Yeah. And Bournemouth, they should have won. Now, having said that, shoulda, you didn't. And I think the quality of the players are just not quite at the level it needs to be. I said it in the summer. Yeah. They needed to sign a clinical striker. If they sign a clinical striker, that Brighton game, they probably win, right? Even with the red card. Yeah. Martinelli, said it before. I think you need to have an honest conversation about whether that guy's good enough anymore, man. I think you've outgrown him. And this is the thing with Arsenal fans, yeah. It's not, no one's digging out your players. It's a compliment to your football club. You have outgrown some of these players. You've already outgrown Gabriel Jesus already. That guy's not good enough for Arsenal anymore. It's not. No one's like cooking your players or anything. It's a compliment to the football club. Martinelli, I don't think is good enough for Arsenal. Again, compliment to your football club. I think you're better than that. I do. And then when I say stuff like that, Arsenal fans start talking about my players. Like, why are you talking about my players for? We're talking about you. Yeah. Talk about your club. I think Arsenal now need to have a window where they just get rid of some of these players that are not good enough, yeah, and improve and, like Potsy said, upgrade. Because I just think that they've outgrown them. They've outgrown some of these players, man, and they need to spend some money and upgrade.
I get that point, and like I've said, I'll try to be very careful with my words. We'll probably put another disclaimer together for this, and I don't think that argument is illogical, stupid, crazy, hateful, nothing like that. I just feel though it's like with the starting 11 and everything else. The only games where this squad has come up short for Arsenal this season has been when they've been down to 10 men. And what I would say is this. I've never heard fans, pundits, professionals, journalists analyze football and say, my squad or your squad's got to improve because I don't know how you're going to cope in those games where you get men sent off. That's never, again, hindsight, we're looking back and saying there's a problem. And I get they've missed these chances, but we all know the psychology of a team changes when you get a man sent off. Sometimes people say it's harder to score against a 10-man team at times. There are some people that believe it becomes harder to win. I looked at some of the facts that are out there. I actually emailed Opta today because I think I would like to do it because Gary Neville said that you should be winning these games even when you've got 10 men. And for years, I've agreed with Gary Neville. I've gone, yeah, you're right. Then I looked at some of the facts and actually every single member of the top six, barring Arsenal, actually, ironically, have lost much more games when down to 10 men than they've won. So I've but there's so many factors that we're not sure of in this. So I emailed Opta, I've tweeted them as well and said, I'd love to see the data of the top six sides and the team every season that wins the Premier League for how many games they win with 10 men. But within that, were they winning, losing or drawing when they went down to 10 men? And at what minute of the game did they go down to 10 men? Because I saw an article Liverpool did about their own club and it was like our 10 greatest wins with 10 men. And I think it was 8 or 9 of them. They were already winning by 2 goals or more when they went down to 10 men, right? So that's different from going down to 10 men 20 minutes into a match when it's 0-0 or you're losing. So I'd love to do a deep dive into this. If it turns out that the big clubs invariably win when they go down to 10 men when it's 0-0 or they're drawing or winning, then I think it's absolutely fair to say Arsenal have got to go and win these games. But if it turns out that 80% of our teams lose in that scenario, again, the analysis becomes flawed. Not because Gary Neville's trying to be harsh. I used to say that as well, but I like these conversations because sometimes I think it's an eye opener. The same as Arsenal squad. I totally get the challenges about whether it's good enough or not. I'm not saying people are wrong or right. I'm saying the debate is open, but it's the analysis when you've had a man sent off, because none of us ever sit there and say, I'm worried about my squad. I'm worried about my players in case we have to play a game with 10 men. It's never been said in the history of football. Do you know what I'm saying? So I need to see some more games. And the one thing I will say is, you're right, LB. They've got to stop getting. Someone in the comments said there's no ill discipline, and it's like, well, okay, right as I can get, but there is ill discipline with what Saliba did. It's stupidity. What Trossard did to get sent off against City, I don't think it was delaying a restart. This is because, again, the PGMOL have become so anal about proving they were right to send Rice off. They've forgotten about what Trossard actually did was dissent. He booted the ball away in anger. We've all seen it 100 times. Soboslai did it in the Liverpool game. And they tried to say, well, he didn't delay a restart because nobody was near him. No, he booted it in anger. Bruno, when he got booked the other week, they said they booked him. The commentators said, they booked him for delaying a restart. The official report's been done. He got booked for dissent because he booted the ball away in anger. And it's like, that's a disciplinary issue. So there are lots of areas.
I will say, though, Tel, like, let's just be real. Arsenal have not been that impressive this season. Like, whether you think that, red cards would have made a difference or not, I know I get what LB's saying. We could have won all 3 games, but I haven't left thinking, God, we were really good today. Like, we looked excellent. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's be real. At home, we were actually not that great against Leicester. We were dominant, but we didn't do much with it. Southampton, I thought we were shocking, if I'm honest. And then, obviously, we had to bring our 3 better players on to win the game. We've discussed Brighton, Man City and Bournemouth in terms of red cards, but even against Wolves, we gave away chances. And even against, teams where, let's be real, Aston Villa, if Watkins was on fire, we would have been 2-0 down. So I don't look at it this season yet and go, wow, Arsenal are there. Now, look, if we get results, I don't really care how we play. Let's just get the results right. But there is definitely going to be, like LB was saying earlier, a time where you think, got to sort this out because, Man City got to get better. Otherwise, they're going to do what we've done. We've got to now bounce back and we've got tough games to do it in. It's not looking great at Arsenal attack-wise at the moment. And without Saka and Ødegaard, we are struggling to create. We just are. And I think that if you look at the 30 minutes before that red card, I don't think we were great against Bournemouth. I mean, I don't think Bournemouth were brilliant either. I thought Bournemouth were pretty poor, if I'm honest, for most of the game until the sending off. They just went on top. But I don't think Arsenal have quite clicked this season yet. And we need to try and work out how we do that. I mean, PSG is the only performance I'll walk away from and go, yeah, we look good. We battered them. But otherwise than that, not sure, man.
The thing is, though, now, Potsy, with your next 3 fixtures, you're very much in a case of results over performances.
Facts.
Do you get me? Whereas my clubs, obviously, I need the results, right? But I also kind of need to see my performances starting to pick up now. I've got Southampton, Bournemouth, and Brighton. You know what I mean? Like, listen, Brighton and Bournemouth on the day can be decent, and Southampton try and play. But like, I really need to start seeing my team start to perform a little bit better than I have. You're in a completely different position. If you shithouse 3-1-0 results, wins, and play terribly, but get through, you'll be buzzing, you'll be laughing, and then you can start worrying about the performances, because these next 3 games for you, let's be honest, could dictate whether or not you're in a title race. Because if you don't get, I think you need, honestly, a minimum 6, probably 7 points out of these next 3 games. I really, really do. Now, obviously, this weekend's game is going to be a madness. I don't know if we're going to speak about it now, Terry, but like, I think this is.